Howdy folks, it's Ultra here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to do something completely out of the ordinary. Well, I should say halfway out of the ordinary. The halfway out of the ordinary part is that we're going to do a super long haul. We're going to fly from Jeddah to the next Formula 1 track in Melbourne, Australia, over a 14-hour flight. So I'm just going to get us in the air and then let it run overnight while I sleep and then come back and land. That's the plan. We'll see if it really happens that way. I was going to do a red-eye flight, but I want to see some ocean. So we're actually going to do a sunrise flight, and then we'll land at sunset. You can actually see the sun move over the mountain. It wasn't over the mountain when I started 14 seconds ago. Wow. The part that isn't out of the ordinary is that we're using the completely wrong plane for this. We are using the Cessna Citation, which I'm familiar with, which I use for all of my flights that are jet-like. So we're familiar with the plane now. Before the purists freak out and say, why aren't you using something else? I did try using the 787. In fact, I did an hour-long video that I scrapped with the 787. Of course, I only used default everything, and the default 787 was still too broken to do what I needed it to do. I couldn't even get it to follow the flight plan. I mean, it would for a couple minutes, and then it would turn like to the left, super steep. And I did some research, and it's totally normal. I mean, it's normally broken. You have to do some mods in order for it to work, and I'm not into mods with the simulator, at least not right now. Maybe someday, never say never. So I scrapped that video, scrapped that airplane. I did not try the Airbus or the 747. I don't know anything about those planes, so I'd have to practice for a while, and I just want to get to Australia. So we're using the wrong plane. The caveat is that I turned off fuel, so unlimited fuel is on so that we can make it, or else you would barely get to the ocean and we'd be out of fuel. So there's that caveat. Other than that, it's just a super long haul that I'm going to let sit, and then we're going to fly a plane that I know. I would, if we do some more super long hauls in the future, I would like to use a different plane, but even the Airbus I don't think would make that distance. I don't think it would. Maybe it would. I don't know if the 747 would, to be honest. We would need, like, I don't know, some long range airplanes, which I don't think this sim has by default. So that kind of takes away the guilt from using this plane too, is I don't even think there is a default plane that would make it from Jeddah to Australia. I don't know. Anyway. Ooh, airplane coming in. We can watch while I jibber jabber. So anyway, following Formula 1 from Jeddah to Melbourne. Of course, in real life, this race in Melbourne already happened, and they're on their way to Baku right now. We may fly from Melbourne to Baku, but that's even a longer flight than this one. So we'll see. We'll see if I do it or not. So it seems like, at least so far, we're following the Formula 1 calendar, just to give me some ideas, and then continue with bush trips as they happen. Oh, one last thing. What was I going to say? I did not write this down. I was going to say one more thing. Oh, the track. We checked out the track in Bahrain. We aren't checking out the track here in Jeddah because it's a street track, and there's really nothing to see. So as we fly over the city on our way out, look at the street, and that'll be your track. In Melbourne, we might do a very quick VFR in another video. It's a street track, but it goes around Albert Park. So we could check out the park and where it sits in relation to Melbourne, maybe. Maybe we'll do that, but that's a street track also. So nothing like definitive to check out there. And I'm just staring at that plane coming in. That's so cool. So anyway, let's get going here because it's already going to be a longish video, even though I'm going to cut down the 14 hours, but still, you know, by the time we get going and we get to cruise, and then I show you some sightseeing and we land, you know, it's going to be in about another hour probably. I'm planning on keeping this one video, but you never know. I might change my mind. So first thing we're going to do here is make sure the parking brake is set, which is pulled up, and there it is. And external power on. Is it available? I think it is. I see it lit up there. Yes, it is. External power is available, so I can screw with my lights a little bit here because those get so bright. Oh my goodness. Turn on a little bit of flood to offset my eyes here. Tail flood. Yes. Okay, cool. Emergency lights. Where are you? Here. To arm, please. There we go. The flood lamp plan on jittery that. Fuel and passengers. We're actually going to do that down here now. This is so bright, I got to turn that down too. I know how to turn it down here. The brightness, if it'll let me. Where's the click spot? There you go. Turn down the brightness a little bit. There we go, but I don't remember how to do the middle one. I think there's like a lighting in here. Yeah, lighting. No, that's landing, not lighting. I can't see that far. I thought there was a lighting thing here in aircraft systems, but I don't see anything with interior lights. Interesting. I swear there used to be a lighting thing where you could dim these lights, because there was a time there's an update and everything was completely dim and you had to go in and turn them on because there was a mistake. Now they're just completely on and they're too bright. Whatever, worry about that later. Anyway, I wanted to do fuel and passengers, which I can't remember where that is. Is it a flight plan? No. I did this in the last video. Here it is, weight and fuel, right in front of my face. There we go, operating fuel, payload, takeoff, fuel on board, sink, landing, bam, there we go. Passengers, whatever. Whenever it won't let me do full passengers for some reason. Let me try 9 passengers. So there we go, 0 and 8. 8 passengers. And they don't. Let's just say for average, because we're bringing some kids. Let's say it brings us down to 190. There we go. Cargo, 300 pounds of cargo. There we go. Nice. Takeoff fuel on board. Perfect. All those can be unlimited fuel. You know, in the sim you can go into flight management or aircraft something and you can do unlimited fuel. That's what we did. But anyway. Okay, there we go. Next. Batteries on down here, right? Battery. And confirm generators are on. Yeah, they're always on now. Ever since the last update. APU start, which is down here. And then we have to go up here and make sure it stabilizes. So while we're waiting around, we'll do a full screen here. Oh, flight plan. I did the flight planning screen before I started the video. Pretty straightforward. We're going to take off. We're going to taxi to the runway, take off into the wind, obviously. Depart. And then when we get to Australia, you're just going to have to see it when we get there. Nothing complicated. If the weather doesn't change, we're going to land on runway 16, I think it was. We're going to use ILS for this time, just because we used RNM last time. Basically, turn to the right, we'll go in. Super easy. I did the approach before I started the flight this time, because last time, at least coming into Jeddah, ADC gave us an approach I couldn't even find in the FMS, so we pre-planned the approach again. I do it both ways. Sometimes I'll pre-plan the approach, sometimes I will have ATC tell us. It's just depends how I'm feeling. Alright, we'll zoom in here so we know how to get to the taxi out to the airport, or to the runway, sorry. APU stabilized, that's what we're waiting for. APU bleed is normal automatically now. Yes, it is, and I think the generator is automatic now. Yep. So we used to have to flip all these things, and they changed it all with the latest update, so we only have to flip half the stuff. Fine, that's whatever. Okay. External power off. There we go. Alrighty, make sure power levels are idle. Everything should be. Yes, Cerrone. Boost pumps on. Those are here. Yep, there they are. Pulse light on now because we're about to start our engines. Alright, super easy to start now. You just turn it on and you start it. That's it. It used to be really screwy and buggy, but that's what I got to do. So, there we go. I was going to say, why isn't it starting? There it is. I don't think we need to push back. Nope. We're just going to take out. Oh, there's a plane landing, or no? I don't know. I do a real traffic turned on, but not player traffic. Bunch of airplanes in the view there. Oh, there we go. There's an airplane landing. You can watch it while our engine starts, because it's always fun to watch an airplane land. There we go. We can get a closer look. There we go. Very cool. Oh, there's a bunch of planes over there taxiing too. Man, oh man. Busy airport. Whoops, that totally screwed up the shot. Yay, it's like a movie, and bam! Tricycle landing. Wait, Is that a 380? Yeah, that's a 380 because I had 2 rows of whatchamacallit. Interesting. Huh, I didn't know that would be in the sim. Alrighty, let's start this one because now we're just wasting time. Come up here, wait for it to stabilize. And while we're waiting, let's get the trim in the green. And what else do we need to do? We need to do a few other things here. There we go, trim is in the green now. If we're in the right spot, it'll lift off easily. Bam, there we go. Okay, cool. What is next? Boost pump's gonna go down to normal now. So let's do normal. There we go. APU generator off, so that is right here. And then APU off. Simple icing. We'll do icing because I like to do the icing stuff even though it puts cautions for pitot heat. I should probably wait for pitot until we're like going to take off, but I'll do it right now anyway. Let's see, how is our main flight display? We have wind and everything. Yep, everything's where we want it. It's going to follow the FMS or nav, and yeah, that's it. Okay, let's get ATIS and clearance for IFR, then we'll do the rest of it here. ATIS.
Jeddah Airport Information Alpha 0300 Zulu. Wind 286 at Niner. Visibility 6. Sky condition clear. Temperature 31. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.80. ILS runway tree for center, ILS runway tree 4 left and ILS runway tree 4 right in use. Landing and departing runway tree for center, runway tree for left and runway tree 4 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Alpha.
And Alpha it is, so let's request our IFR
Jeddah
clearance.
clearance delivery Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 ready to copy IFR clearance to Melbourne.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is cleared to Melbourne Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree 4 right climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure frequency is 1 tree for decimal tree squawk 5525.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 cleared to Melbourne Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree 4 right climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure on 1 tree 4 decimal tree squawk 5525.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 read back correct. Contact ground on 121.75. Good day.
Alrighty. Simple enough. Let's finish what we're doing. I'm just getting some autopilot stuff set up here. We'll see if that works or if we have to really be in the air. I can't remember, but there we go. That's all we should need. 10,000 feet to climb out. Nav. Flight level change to get us up there. VNAV, so we minded the speed limits. It worked perfectly fine last time, so we'll see if it works again this time. It might be too soon to do the flight level change. I can't remember. But we're going to find out together. Let's go over here, turn on speed bugs. There's speed bugs right here. And all on. And get the timers ready. Alright. What is going on next here? Simple. That's actually the next 5 things on my checklist. Alrighty, so let's request IFR taxi. Let's use this one. And taxi.
Jeddah ground Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 with Alpha ready to taxi IFR.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 taxi to and hold short of runway tree 4 right using taxiway Quebec November Delta November. Contact tower on 124 decimal tree when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway tree 4 right via taxiway Quebec November Delta November Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alrighty, I turned on all the lights as appropriate, and it brought flaps down 1 notch, and we're going to take out parking brake. And taxi out of here. And get going on our flights. Quickest startup ever in this thing. And as I was starting this up, I was thinking, since we have so much time between the Australian Formula 1 and the Baku Formula 1 races, I think I'm going to try to play around with the 747 and Airbus just to see if it'll work for me. So maybe we can fly back from Australia in a slightly more appropriate plane. Like I said, I don't even know if either of those planes would make the flight, to be honest, but it's, you know, slightly more appropriate than this one. Whatever. We'll see how I feel. And then, of course, the next 3 bush trips should be out by then as well. So there's plenty for me to do, as well as some, you know, VFR, GA stuff, which is what I normally do on this channel. Those of you who might be new to the channel and seeing all these IFR business jet flights, these are actually incredibly rare for me. I think I've done like 3 or 4. Maybe this is the 5th one in 12 years. So, just so happens the last 2 have been this. Just coincidence. It's not going to be a regular thing, but it is fun flying around from Formula race to Formula 1 race. I do enjoy it. So anyway, saw the entire taxi to the hangar in the previous video or previous flight. So for this video, I'm just going to make a cut during the taxi, and I'll see you at the stop line to take off. Alrighty, we're pulling up to the stop line here. We'll contact tower and we'll see when the when the trigger point is here. And PD now should give us the clearance option. Look at those big planes. Wow. Huge planes. Alrighty, and there we go. Takeoff clearance.
Jeddah Tower Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 ready for IFR departure runway, tree 4 right.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 altimeter 29.80 wind 286 at 9er. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 4 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway, tree 4 right Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alrighty, everything ready to go here. We got landing lights on, taxi lights off, standby powers on, confirm the flaps, trim the green, start the timers, like so, timer, and put the yoke back in. And we are ready for takeoff, so let's get going here. We will roll out. Oh, there's a plane landing over there, or maybe it's taking off. I just see flashing pixels. Come here, whoop. Too much brake, sorry, I was looking at the planes in front of us. I was enjoying the scenery a little too much. Alrighty, so the only question I have right now is when we engage autopilot, is it too soon for flight level change? Should I be using vertical speed instead for now? We'll find out as soon as I hit autopilot. I just want to use VNAV also to make sure that we mind the speed limit. So we're going to go up as soon as we take off. We will engage autopilot, see what happens. And if I need to, I will do vertical speed instead. My note says 2,550 feet. That doesn't seem right. But anyway, here we go. We are up. Been trying to take off already. Oh, there we go. Brakes us out the wheels. Gears coming in. Flaps coming in. Actually, you know what? We will hold off on the autopilot, at least however the end of the runway, which is pretty soon here. Okie dokie.
Good day.
Good day. There we go.
1 tree 4 decimal tree for Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
And autopilot. Let's see what happens with the climb. Okay, this new flight level change from the very beginning. Good.
Jeddah Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is at 2,000 feet climbing 10,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Jeddah Center altimeter 29.80. Continue to JN 236 as planned. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 keep speed not above 210 knots.
Keep speed not above 210 knots. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Oh, I know. I forgot to do auto throttle. There we go. That'll take care of the speed.
Tango Tango 41 traffic is 7 o'clock 4 miles at 1,100 feet Airbus A20N. Report them in sight.
What? Hang on a
Turtle
second.
Soup, Tango, Tango,
Why did it stop at
Tango,
5,000
41,
feet?
Have the Airbus A20N in sight.
Why is it stopping at...
Jeddah Center Saudi 550 Heavy is at 2,100 feet, climbing 11,000 feet.
Why
Saudi 550 Heavy
is our
Jeddah
flight
Center
plan
29.80
5,000 feet?
plan.
Must be, yeah, see look, 5,000 feet in the flight plan.
Saudi
They said
550
10,000
heavy
though.
traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 5,200 feet Cessna C700.
Hmm.
Report them in sight.
Now will it climb? It told us...
Saudi 550 Heavy have the traffic.
There we go. Okay, so our VNAV said 10,000, I mean 5,000, which means it's working. But they told us 10,000, did they not? Yeah, 10,000 feet right here. Interesting. So ATC did not match the flight plan, which happens in real life all the time, right? So that's kind of cool. But otherwise, it's working perfectly. The speed limit, auto throttle, it's going to climb now like we wanted. We just made the change. I mean, this is amazing. Which is why we're using this plane instead of the 787. So without mods, it seems like the 787 at the moment is just a novelty plane. We'll see if that changes. You never know. But if the other two default airliners are not novelty, I'll try to use those sometime. But anyway, looking back over Jeddah, there's downtown over here. We can't see it anymore. It's de-rendered itself, but we are headed into the sky. And even though this isn't meant to be a long-range plane, I still love using it for any...
Climb and maintain flight level 230 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
So yeah, even though this isn't like a landing lights off, a commercial tube liner or anything, I still like using it for IFR flights and these types of flights because it all works. It works fantastically. Alrighty, just checking out the scenery because we can, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love the roads down there. Going into some towns. How we doing? It's climbing to 2,300 feet. Turn off landing lights. Icing is needed. We'll keep the icing on. Standard barometer in a few moments. And then I will be with you until you reach cruise. And then I'm going to let this thing run for 14 hours. Unlimited fuel, so this should never go down. That means we'll be landing kind of heavy, right? Because we'll be full fuel all the time. But we'll see. I could, while I'm with the plane, turn on fuel and then do unlimited when I step away, but I'll forget and then we'll crash. So let's just keep it the way it is. We'll just land kind of heavy, that's all. We'll be okay. So yeah, we're just waiting until we get further instructions to climb up to cruise. So let's just look outside a little bit here. Try to get a good thumbnail maybe. Looking out over the sea. It is land like right over here. You can actually see the train already. Huh, that's kind of cool. These mountains are pretty big, but they don't look so big when we're this high up. Looking back over Jeddah, there's the airport, there's downtown. And then of course we're not going to be able to see over the entire landmass of Saudi Arabia. In fact, we can't even see beyond the mountain range. Oh yes, we can. We can see beyond the mountains, but we can't see the ocean. If we do this flight from Australia over to Baku, we're going to be flying a parallel path along here over Bahrain and stuff, so that'd be kind of cool if we do that. Anywho, just kind of killing time before we get our next instructions to climb even further. Should be any moment now. Oh, one thing we should do is hit barometer. It'll reset to 2,902 because we're above 18,000 feet. We will keep icing on because I like to. And we should get instructions any second now to climb. And there it is. 330. 330.
Climb and maintain flight level tree 30 turtle soup. Tango 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 41.
330. Flight level change. There we go. That way it'll do its own speeds. Man, things are easy when they work, aren't they? This is also why I don't do these long haul IFRs all the time, because you just sit and push a couple buttons and then that's it. And then you land. But anyway.
Saudia 817, you are 62 miles east. Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 34 right approach via Usmit transition. Clear to Usmit. Mizzou 1905, you are 64
That's
miles east.
beautiful. Wow, look at that. The Red Sea in the background. Man, that's amazing. Ooh, got some turbulence. In fact, I haven't. I can't remember what my turbulence setting is. I think I have it set to normal in the settings. Because, ever since the last update, I think people before the New Zealand, before the New Zealand World update, the Sim update had turbulence setting where you can actually turn off turbulence, low, medium, and realistic. I think I'm set to realistic. I'll have to check that again. Look at that, just gorgeous. Flying the friendly skies. I'm having us do a lot of outside shots now because the mountains are going to go away. And then there'll be ocean, and then that'll be it. So, a lot of sightseeing right now while we listen to the traffic in the background non-stop. Holy moly, hope you can hear my voice over the ATC. But good grief. Look at this. This is amazing. Oh, there's some turbulence. Good. Yeah, I must have it set to realistic. Yep, I just checked my turbulence is set to realistic, so that's good. And we're definitely picking up some turbulence as we fly between cloud layers. Look at this down here. Man, this scenery, this is 10 out of 10 scenery right here. Holy cow. This is definitely 10 out of 10. I'm so happy right now to be looking at this. Oh, I guess the mountains go all the way to the end. I thought they stopped right here. Alright, we should be getting our next flight level change up to cruise in just a moment. But if you look on the map, look how little space it takes us to get up this high. That's so crazy. But any second now, we should be getting our next instructions. We'll just listen for turtle soup. And we know they're talking to us. And we'll see if they bring us up to like 41,000, 44,000. Here we go. Wow, 450. I did not expect that one. Okay.
Turtle soup Tango 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 41.
I assume we can go that high. It might take us 2 hours to get up there, but let's see what happens. Here we go. Are we going to be able to maintain Mach 760? But we'll do whatever it can. There's the bug. So it's going to be a slow climb up to cruise. So I think this is where I'm going to leave you for a while because we're just going to climb to cruise and we'll be there. So I think we talked about everything we needed to talk about. I expect it to be 14 plus hours, unlimited fuel. I think when I come back in the morning in real life, I will turn fuel back on and drag the slider down so we don't land heavy if it'll let me. But otherwise, I'm going to put together sightseeing over land, sightseeing over ocean. I don't think we're going to see any land until Australia. I'm looking at Google Maps. And once we reach the Arabian Sea, I don't think we're going to see anything until the Australian continent. So enjoy the sightseeing of the land. Enjoy the sightseeing of the ocean. I'm going to let this run overnight and try to piece together some sightseeing seamlessly. You won't even notice. Yeah. So enjoy a couple minutes of sightseeing and some background music. And I will see you, well, for me it'll be tomorrow, but I'll see you in just a few minutes and we'll be magically in Australia. hour, and I'm just going to break into the sightseeing for a moment. And first of all, I think I'm leaving in way more sightseeing than I planned, so hopefully it's not too much. Hopefully the video doesn't get too long, but we are 6 hours and 18 minutes into the flight, and I wanted to point out a few things. First of all, we went by the Maldives, and you saw them in sightseeing a little bit if you kept your eyes peeled, and the weather just changed. Whoa, that's a cool view. The weather changing, unless we finally have some clouds coming up, so that's cool. It's not just blue ocean. The sun reflecting, it's gonna set soon. It's gonna set over there because we're in the southern hemisphere now, I think. Yeah, I think we're pretty well into the southern hemisphere. And it'll be sunset. It'll be a night arrival into Australia. Hopefully we get to see some of the land mass before sunset, though, because I do want to see the sun, the daylight over the land of Australia, so we might have to change things a little bit if it's too dark to see the outback and everything. But that is a conversation for like 5 hours or 6 hours from now. In the meantime, I wanted to show you what happens if you lose radar contact, because I stepped away for a couple hours and they were trying to talk to me, as you can see if this will scroll, and I don't copy and I didn't acknowledge, so they canceled me. But I want to show you what you can do to get it back. And I know this works because I already did this a couple hours ago. So you want to do flight following.
Melbourne Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is type Cessna C700 flight level 450. Request flight following.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Melbourne Center. Squawk 6415.
Squawk 6415 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 radar contact flight level 450.
Roger Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
And then once you have your flight following, you can now regain or resume with your flight plan.
Melbourne Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 request IFR to Melbourne ready to copy.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 read back correct. Radar contact flight level 450. Continue to Upneath turning and following heading 140. Proceed on course climb and maintain flight level 455.
Continue to Upneath turning and following heading 140. Resume own navigation, climb and maintain flight level 455. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
455? Okay. There's 455 and flight level change, I guess. For 500 feet, that'll happen very quickly. Does not need to be this quick. But anyways, I just wanted to show you what happens if you miss radar contact. You can easily rejoin. It never used to be that way. It used to be you were screwed. But many updates ago, that became an option. So you do not need to worry about missing it. That's the second time I've missed it now, and I have not been penalized. If they were to ever penalize me, we would just let the computer follow its way in, and we would talk to air traffic control when we got to the airport, that type of thing, just like normal. So anyway, so there's that. I wanted to show you that super quickly. I wanted to show you that the weather changed because we were just looking at blue ocean for the longest time. And down here, I'm curious in 17 minutes how long the next leg is going to be. That'll be interesting. And then I wanted to show you that we're 6.5 hours in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with you until we get to the next waypoint, because I want to see how long this leg is. These are all about an hour or so, hour and 10 minutes. So I think this is going to be like, well, 6, we got 8 more, 7 more, give or take. So I'm guessing this is going to be like a 5-hour stretch. I would not be surprised if this is like a 5-hour stretch. So I'm going to see if I can get weather to show up on here, if there's any weather, and I will be right back after this quick edit. Okay, so weather works, but not north up. So you have to see, north is behind us. So over here to the left, if you look, there is actual weather out there. I mean, there's always weather, right? Even if it's clear skies and no wind, that is still weather, but you know what I mean, right? So this is some type of light rain over here, which is really cool. Nothing that's going to affect us. We're well above any weather we need to worry about, so I will be comfortable stepping away again at some point, but not till we see in 15 minutes how long the stretch is. Alright, in 9 seconds we will know how long that leg is. And then I'll turn you back to some sightseeing. Alright, hey, we're going to look out the window here. 4 hours and 5 minutes. With a slight turn. And there's no land to be seen, by the way. Like, it's not like we're coming up near anything. I mean, there's no land. You can kind of see Malaysia, Philippines, all that stuff over here. But, yeah, you're not going to see that from the airplane, though. And then, trying to think. Yeah, there's no way look at 1,000 nautical miles. So there's no way we'll see Madagascar. There's no way we'll see Australia yet. No way we'll look back in Yemen and India, of course. Sri Lanka, Philippines, Malaysia. Yeah, there's no way we're going to see any of that stuff in here. Otherwise, let me think here. Anything else to say while I got your attention? I don't think so. Oh, look at this. You can see how we're gonna end up. I wasn't by my microphone. Hopefully you heard me. We're gonna end up here. We're gonna end up. Looks like that's just north of Perth. Yeah, because I'm looking at these things sticking out here. So Geraldton, I guess. And we'll cut across, and looks like we're going to go across water a little bit. Okay, cool. I was hoping we would see Ayers Rock, but there's no way we'll see Ayers Rock from down here. Ayers Rock is way up here. So that question has been answered for me. I don't have to keep looking at the map then. I don't think there's any land. Like, I don't even think there's an island now until we get to Australia. I guess there's the Cocos, but we're definitely not going to be that far north. So, no land, nothing. So, for you, it's going to just be like a minute, probably, of ocean shots. For me, it's going to be 6-7 more hours of flying. When we reach landfall, I don't know if I'm going to start talking during landfall or if I'm just going to give you sightseeing during landfall. You're going to find out when I find out, so stick around for a couple minutes until we get there. Isn't editing nice? It's going to be like a minute. We're going to be in Australia. I'll see you there. Alrighty, just a flight update for you here as we cross over Australia. As you can tell on the map, we have reached Australia. Perth is right here. And those with keen eyes will notice it says we've been flying for 22 hours. That is obviously not true. It's because I paused the sim, and when I paused the sim, I was using real life time and everything. So apparently time just kept marching on. Even when the sim was paused, it wasn't active paused, it was actually paused. But time kept marching on, which also means it's magically daytime too. We're looking at Perth down here. So the last sightseeing you saw, if you notice, it was nighttime. And you saw lights in the distance. That was Perth. Now it's daytime, and there's Perth there. So kind of a bummer that it changed time on us, but I guess because I was using real-time settings, that's what happens. I also have to discuss ATC, but just a second here. Let's hand off, and I'll tell you what's going on with ATC quickly here. Let's get through the handoff. I rehearsed what I was going to say, and now they screwed up my rehearsal. What I rehearsed. Let's see, what are they going to tell us here?
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Melbourne Center. Continue to Bosley as planned.
Alrighty, so we'll talk about that in a second. So first I wanted to mention the 22 hours. We were at 11 hours and 14 minutes or so, and I looked up from Perth to Melbourne. In real life is 3 hours and some change. So if you add the 3 hours to the 11 that we had, that would be 14 and some change. So that is exactly what's supposed to be. So our time is going to be exactly right. I am going to see if I can turn on fuel in a little bit here just so we don't land super heavy. So anyway, I want to talk about the time, and I wanted to talk about why it's daytime all of a sudden, which is fine. I wanted to fly over Australia in daytime, but I was willing to accept the fact it was going to be a midnight or mid-overnight arrival. We did miss the sunset though, and that's because I left the sim running when I went to run an errand with my wife. She wanted an ice cream treat, so I took her to an ice cream treat, left the sim running, and I missed the sunset, which is totally okay because we've seen hundreds of sunsets in the sim, and I was spending time with my wife, and she comes first. So I apologize for missing the sunset. Those are my excuses, and I apologize that it's no longer nighttime, and those are my excuses. But at least we get to land during the day. Although I was kind of excited to see Melbourne at night, but we'll be fine. I don't want to change it. I don't want to change the time and stuff because it could screw everything up. It could. I don't know. It could screw all this stuff up. So I don't want to touch the time. The last thing to talk about before we resume with sightseeing is ATC. So I missed a handoff when I was with my wife, and I came back. I did the flight following thing, but it will not let me get back to my IFR plan, and I think it's because I missed what would have been more than one handoff, because there were 3 or 4 times that I missed a handoff, and every time I was able to get back to my flight plan during this flight. But not this last time, and I think it's because, if you look at where we are, my wife and I coincidentally watched the MH370 documentary on Netflix, and when they showed this part of the world, looking for the airplane, they showed how like 4 different ATC handoffs or controlled regions come together and converge like around here. And that's about where I was when I missed my handoff, so maybe I missed what would have been multiple handoffs, and that's the reason why I can't get back to my flight plan. Or not, maybe they're just mad at me for missing like 5 handoffs throughout the flight, I don't know. But I cannot get back to my flight plan, so what does that mean for us? Not much really, because we already have our approach and everything in the FMS. So all we need to do is manage our own descent, instead of ATC telling us what to do to descend. So not a huge deal, you know, to manage our speed limits and things. So yeah, not a big deal. And it says over here top of descent, I believe. Yep, so there's a top of descent. So we'll just set our altitude for the approach and use flight level change. That way VNAV will manage our speeds. So the only thing different without ATC is just managing our descent. Very simple, very straightforward. Oh, the other thing is we'll have to tune in the airport ourselves when we get to the airport area. We'll just have to tune it in ourselves. Not a big deal. So it's kind of annoying, but whatever. We'll get through it. I think those are the things I wanted to talk about. We talked about the timer, we talked about the time of day, we talked about where we were, we talked about our 3 hours left, and we talked about ATC interactions. So I think that's it. I thought there was one more thing I wanted to say. I don't think so. Oh, and I talked about turning on fuel, which I'll do a little bit. Maybe when we get to here, I'll turn fuel back on, see if it works. Hopefully we don't screw up the flight by doing that. It's just with the flight this long, I'm nervous to experiment. Like, if this were like an hour-long flight, then I would mess with the time of day. I would mess with the fuel thing. I'm just kind of nervous because this flight has been so long. Man, it does not look like we're 44,000 feet or 45,000 feet above the ground. Because like the Outback here, where we're entering the Outback. Well, no, the Outback's up here. This is not the Outback. But anyway, it does not look like we're 45,000 feet up. Anyway, that was, oh my gosh, that was a 6-minute interruption. It was only supposed to be a 1-minute interruption. Anyway, whatever, that's turtle style. Enjoy sightseeing. Why are we going so slowly? Probably because this is all the speed we can get. Ground speed is 500 knots. We're not going slowly. Anyway, enjoy the sightseeing. I'm not going to do music this second part of sightseeing, so just crank up your speakers or headphones and give it a good listen. And it's going to be a 3-hour flight for me until we get to our approach. It's going to be only a minute or two for you when I cut it down. And I'll see you at top of descent.